Welcome to our lecture on the diversity of chordates, focusing specifically on the class Amphibia. Today, we are going to explore the fascinating world of amphibians, creatures like frogs, toads, and salamanders. Imagine trying to design a vehicle that works perfectly as both a deep-water submarine and a dry-land car. You would have to make incredible compromises. That is exactly what nature did when it evolved these remarkable animals. They represent a massive evolutionary leap, acting as the brave pioneers that first ventured out of the oceans and onto the land. Let us dive in and understand how they manage this incredible double life. Now that we have introduced these evolutionary pioneers, let us look at what their name actually means. The word amphibian literally translates to both kinds of life from ancient Greek. This is not just a poetic name, it is a literal description of their life cycle. They start their lives entirely aquatic, swimming like fish and breathing through gills. But as they grow, they undergo a dramatic transformation into four-legged land dwellers that breathe air. This dual existence requires a highly specialized biology. They are not fully independent of water like reptiles or mammals, but they are not bound to it entirely like fish. This unique position makes them a crucial bridge in the history of vertebrate evolution. Building on their dual lifestyle, let us break down their formal biological classification. In scientific terms, amphibians are ectothermic, tetrapod vertebrates. What do these technical terms mean? Ectothermic means they rely entirely on the external environment to regulate their body temperature. They do not generate their own internal heat like we do, which is exactly why you will often see frogs sunbathing on rocks to get warm. Tetrapod simply means they have four limbs. This was a crucial evolutionary adaptation for moving on land, distinguishing them from their finned fish ancestors. Understanding these two traits is fundamental to understanding how amphibians interact with their habitats on a daily basis. Knowing they are ectothermic tetrapods, let us examine the specific anatomical features that define them. First, they have smooth, glandular skin that completely lacks scales. This skin is not just a covering, it must remain moist to allow them to breathe directly through it. Second, they lay anamniotic eggs. This means their eggs lack a protective, waterproof shell, so they must be laid in water to prevent them from drying out. Finally, adult amphibians possess a three-chambered heart. This is a significant evolutionary step up from the two-chambered heart of fishes, allowing for a more complex and efficient circulatory system to support their active life on land. With these unique anatomical features in mind, we must ask, why should we care so deeply about amphibians? Because their skin is highly permeable and they live in both water and on land, amphibians are considered excellent indicator species for environmental health. If a local pond is polluted with chemicals, the frogs will be the very first creatures to get sick or disappear, acting like a natural warning alarm for humans. Additionally, they play a massive role in our ecosystems by controlling insect populations. A single frog can eat thousands of mosquitoes in a season, protecting us from diseases. Without them, the delicate balance of our wetlands would collapse entirely. This brings us to one of the most fascinating and vulnerable aspects of their biology, which we briefly touched upon: their skin. One of the most defining characteristics of amphibians is their ability to breathe through their skin, a process known as cutaneous respiration. For this to work efficiently, oxygen from the air or water must dissolve into the moisture on their skin and travel directly into their blood vessels. This incredible adaptation allows them to survive without relying solely on their small, underdeveloped lungs. However, it also comes with strict limitations. This breathing mechanism perfectly explains why amphibians must stay moist at all times, and why they cannot grow to the size of an elephant. To truly understand the limitations of cutaneous respiration, we can look at the mathematics behind it. We can measure how well an amphibian breathes through its skin using a principle from physics called Fick's law of diffusion. The formula is R equals K times A times delta P, all divided by D. Let us break down these symbols. R is the rate of gas diffusion, telling us how much oxygen enters the frog per second. The symbol K is the diffusion constant, which increases when the skin is perfectly wet. E stands for the total surface area of the skin. Delta P represents the difference in oxygen concentration between the outside air and the frog's blood. Finally, D in the denominator is the skin thickness. Notice that if skin thickness D increases, the breathing rate R decreases dramatically. Now that we have our formula, let us see this with a concrete example of a healthy, moist frog sitting near a pond. We are given a diffusion constant K of 2 units, a surface area A of 50 square centimeters, an oxygen difference, delta P, of 10 units, and a very thin skin thickness, D, of 0.5 millimeters. We want to calculate the rate of oxygen diffusion, R. We plug these values into Fick's law. First, we multiply the top values. 2 times 50 gives 100, and multiplying by 10 gives a total driving force of 1,000 in the numerator. Finally, we divide this 1,000 by the skin thickness of 0.5. This gives us a final diffusion rate of 2,000 units of oxygen per second. This high number means the frog is breathing very efficiently. Having seen a healthy frog, let us look at a dangerous real-world scenario where our frog wanders too far from the pond and dries out in the hot sun. Because the skin is dry, the diffusion constant, K, drops to 0.5. The surface area and oxygen difference remain the same. However, the dry skin shrinks and hardens, increasing the barrier thickness D to 2.0 millimeters. We plug these new values into the exact same formula. Multiplying 0.5 by 50 gives 25. Multiplying by 10 gives a new numerator of 250. We then divide this by the increased thickness of 2.0. This yields a final diffusion rate of just 125 units of oxygen per second. The breathing rate has plummeted. So we have calculated the diffusion rates for both scenarios. This brings us to a mathematical proof of why amphibians are strictly restricted to moist habitats. Let us analyze the changes step by step, starting with the numerator of Fick's law. The numerator represents the total driving force for oxygen to enter the body. In our healthy frog, this value was 1,000. In the dry frog, it dropped massively to just 250. Since surface area and pressure difference remained constant, this 75% drop is entirely caused by the decrease in the diffusion constant K. Mathematically, this proves that the simple loss of skin moisture directly destroys the physical potential for oxygen gas to dissolve into the animal's body. Continuing our proof, let us look at the denominator, which represents the physical barrier the oxygen must cross. As the skin dried, it hardened, increasing the thickness D from 0.5 to 2.0 millimeters. Because the diffusion rate R is inversely proportional to thickness, this fourfold increase in the denominator severely penalizes the breathing rate. It takes our already crippled numerator of 250 and divides it by a much larger number. The final mathematical result is a catastrophic drop in total oxygen from 2,000 down to 125. This math proves exactly why you will never find a frog living in a dry desert. Without a moist environment, the amphibian literally suffocates. Now that we have proven the mathematics, let us visualize this biological process. On screen is a schematic diagram of amphibian cutaneous respiration. At the very top, you see the outside air, where oxygen originates. The downward arrows show oxygen dissolving first into the blue-tinted moisture layer. This layer represents our high diffusion coefficient, K. Below that is the epidermis, the physical skin barrier. Notice the label pointing out its small thickness, D. The oxygen must travel through this thin barrier to reach the complex network of red and blue blood vessels at the bottom. The formula we just used is displayed on the left, tying all these physical layers to the mathematical variables. If that blue moisture layer disappears, the entire downward flow of oxygen stops. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us summarize our key takeaways. First, amphibians are remarkable transitional creatures. As ectothermic tetrapods, they literally bridge the evolutionary gap between aquatic fish and fully terrestrial animals. Second, their unique characteristics, such as a 3-chambered heart and anamniotic eggs, define their dual existence. Third, and most importantly, their reliance on cutaneous respiration means their skin must remain moist and permeable at all times. Finally, as we proved mathematically using Fick's law of diffusion, their survival is intimately tied to moisture. This makes them beautiful, fascinating, but highly vulnerable members of our global ecosystem, highlighting the critical need to protect their fragile wetland habitats.